Have you ever wondered what the world looked like before the rise of Islam? Specifically, what was life like in the Arabian Peninsula, the very cradle of this global faith? Let's travel back in time to an era known as the Jahiliyyah, often translated as the Age of Ignorance. This wasn't an ignorance of skill or trade. The Arabs of this time were masters of their environment, resilient desert dwellers with a rich oral tradition of poetry and storytelling. They were skilled traders, navigating vast, unforgiving landscapes, connecting empires through ancient caravan routes. But spiritually and socially, the landscape was fractured. The peninsula was a patchwork of tribes, each with its own loyalties, traditions, and often its own deities. The Kaaba in Mecca, a structure we now associate with the unity of Islam, was then filled with hundreds of idols, representing a vast pantheon of gods and goddesses. People worshipped everything from celestial bodies to carved stones. This polytheism created a complex web of rituals and superstitions, but it lacked a unifying spiritual core. Society was governed by a fierce code of tribalism. Your tribe was your identity, your protection, and your law. Loyalty was paramount, but it was a double-edged sword. While it fostered a strong sense of community within the clan, it also led to endless cycles of conflict. A minor dispute between individuals could quickly escalate into a full-blown war between tribes, leading to decades of bloodshed over matters of honor or resources. These were the famous Ayyam al-Arab, the battle days of the Arabs, chronicled in their poetry. Life was often precarious, with raids and vendettas being a constant threat. The social structure was starkly hierarchical. Power and wealth were concentrated in the hands of a few tribal chiefs. There was no central government, no unified legal system to protect the weak. Might often made right, this environment was particularly harsh for the most vulnerable. Orphans were frequently exploited, their inheritance seized. Women, while not universally oppressed in old tribes, generally had limited rights. They were often seen as property, with little to no say in marriage or inheritance. And in a practice that chills us to our core, the burial of newborn daughters was not uncommon in some tribes, born from a fear of poverty or the perceived shame of having a female child. Economically, while trade brought wealth to cities like Mecca, it also created vast inequality. Usury, or charging exorbitant interest, was rampant, trapping the poor in a cycle of debt they could never escape. Gambling and drinking were widespread social pastimes, often leading to ruin and further conflict. Justice was a luxury few could afford. Into this world, a world of poetic brilliance yet social fragmentation, of fierce loyalty yet endless strife, a world of bustling trade yet deep inequality, a message began to emerge. It was a message that would challenge the very foundations of this society. In the year 610 AD, a man named Muhammad, a respected member of the Quraysh tribe known for his integrity as Al-Amin, the trustworthy one, began to receive revelations. This was the beginning of Islam. The message was radical, yet simple. There is only one God, the creator and sustainer of the universe. This concept of tawḥīd, or the absolute oneness of God, was a direct challenge to the polytheistic traditions of Arabia. It called for the destruction of all idols and the worship of God alone. This wasn't just a theological shift, it was a social revolution. By declaring that all humans were created by the one God, Islam introduced the idea of a single community, the Ummah, that transcended tribal, ethnic, and social divisions. Loyalty was no longer to the tribe, but to God and this universal brotherhood of believers. The Qur'an, the holy book of Islam, laid out a new moral and legal framework. It explicitly condemned the exploitation of the weak. It established clear rights for orphans, ensuring their property was protected until they came of age. It forbade usury, aiming to create a more just and equitable economic system. The practice of burying infant daughters was strictly prohibited and condemned as a grave sin. Islam brought a profound transformation to the status of women. It granted them rights that were unheard of at the time. A woman's consent became a requirement for marriage. She was given the right to own property, to inherit from her parents and husband, and to seek divorce. While the cultural context was still patriarchal, these legal provisions were revolutionary, establishing a spiritual and legal equality between men and women before God. The tribal code of vengeance was replaced by a system of justice and forgiveness. While retribution was allowed, the Qur'an consistently encouraged forgiveness and reconciliation as the higher, more noble path. It established laws for trade, for marriage, for inheritance, and for criminal justice, creating a stable and predictable society where before there was chaos. This transformation wasn't instantaneous or easy. The early Muslims faced intense persecution from the powerful tribes of Mecca who saw this new faith as a threat to their power, wealth, and traditions. Yet, the message resonated, especially with the poor, the enslaved, and those marginalized by the old system. It offered them dignity, justice, and a sense of belonging to something greater than their tribe. Within a remarkably short period, just a few decades, Islam united the warring tribes of the Arabian Peninsula under a single faith and a single leadership. The endless cycles of vendetta gave way to a shared purpose. The focus shifted from tribal pride to a collective identity as Muslims. This newfound unity unleashed a wave of energy that would carry the message of Islam far beyond the borders of Arabia, influencing civilizations from Spain to China. Looking back, the contrast is staggering. From a fragmented land of tribal warfare and idol worship, Arabia was transformed into the heart of a unified, monotheistic civilization built on principles of justice, community, and equality before God. The social ills of the Jahiliyyah, the exploitation of orphans, the subjugation of women, the crippling effects of usury were directly addressed and replaced with a divine code of ethics. The story of Islam's rise is not just a historical event. It's a powerful testament to how a profound spiritual message can radically reshape a society, replacing the ignorance of division and injustice with the light of unity and compassion. It shows how faith can provide a moral compass that guides a people from chaos to civilization, a transformation that continues to inspire and influence the lives of over 1 billion people today. Thank you for watching. If you found this journey into the past insightful, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.